Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? What's happening? This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect today on this Sunday. Now it's very rare that I do videos on Sundays because usually I'm working. But that's the reason why I'm doing it because I was able to take the time off to celebrate my early birthday. My birthday is on August 30th on Monday, so that will be tomorrow. So I was able to take the time off to go out and just celebrate, have a good time with the family and whatnot. So today I decided to go ahead and do a video. So I want to do a video about an artist, a graffiti artist coming out of New York. Now, if anybody knows about the hip hop culture, right? One of the elements of hip hop is graffiti. One of the elements of hip hop is graffiti. So if you don't know that, then you don't know hip hop. Okay. See, graffiti is a street art. It's a way of expressing oneself, one's political statement, one's social view on things, and just one feeling, one's erotic love. It's just an expression. So art gives a lot of expression to a lot of things about the person themselves, not just only through the graffiti, but also through clothing line like the Urban brand. If anybody can recall back that I did the video about a gentleman from Mississippi back in the 1990s. He was from Mississippi, but I can't think his name off the top of my head right now. But anyways, he was a fashion designer. He had passed away with HIV, but he was a fashion designer. As a matter of fact, let me think. I think I can look his name up. As a matter of fact, let me look his name up because I did a video about him. Anyways, I can't find his name. His name was Patrick Kelly. That's his name, Patrick Kelly. Okay. So Patrick Kelly, right, was ahead of his time during the late 80s. So his clothes was a reflection of art and graffiti. So it was a reflection of African American art. So anyways, art has always been a thing of us as Black people, especially during the Harlem Renaissance time period. Art was always the expression. Even earlier before that, that's the way that we be able to make political statements, social statements, and also represent a social movement, a gang or organization, or just give beauty to life. Tatiana Falazada is a sister who does wall art, not so much graffiti, but wall art. You may like to simply know her. Okay, I will look into her information as well. I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Who was Jean-Michel Basquiat? So Jean-Michel Basquiat was very popular in the early 80s and the late 80s. All right. He came on the scene. He was known for doing a lot of graffiti, a lot of painting. Now, during the time period, it was illegal to put graffiti on buses and trains or anything that's owned by the state. You was not allowed to do it. You couldn't even do that on property because it's considered as vandalism. But people still use graffiti. Okay, so if you go into your urban neighborhood, your urban community, and you look at these abandoned buildings, or you see these walls on the railroad tracks or whatnot, you will see graffitis everywhere. So again, it's just an artistic expression. So let's go into the history about Jean Basquiat. Who was he and where was he from? And how did he get into the world of art? And his life during the time all the way up to his death. So, he passed away at a very young age. He was 27 years old when he passed, and that was in 1988. But let's go ahead and look at his information. Okay, so I'm on the website, and I'm going to show you guys his picture. As you can see, that's Jean Basquiat. All right. Very young man. So Jean-Michel Basquiat was born on December 27, 1960, and he died August 12, 1988. He was an American artist, regarded as one of the most influential artists of the 20th century. He rose to success during the 1980s as part of the neo-expressionism movement. So we're going to look into what neo-expressionism is in a few moments. All right, Basquiat first achieved fame as part of Samo, a graffiti duo who wrote enigmatic epigrams in the cultural hotbed of the Lower East Side of Manhattan during the late 1970s, where rock, punk, and street art coalesced into early hip-hop music culture. By the early 1980s, his paintings were being exhibited in galleries and museums internationally. At 21, Basquiat became the youngest artist to ever take part in documentary in Castle. At age 22, he was the youngest to exhibit at the Whitney Biennial in New York. The Whitney Museum of American Art held a retrospective of his artwork in 1992. Okay. All right, so Basquiat arts focus on dichotomies such as wealth versus poverty, integration versus segregation, and inner versus outer experience. He appropriated poetry, drawing, and painting, and married text and image abstraction, figuration, and historical information mixed with contemporary critique. He used social commentary in his paintings as a tool for introspection and for identifying with his experiences in the Black community of his time, as well as attacks on power structures and system of racism. His visual poetics were acutely political and direct in their criticism of colonialism and support for class struggle. All right. Since Basquiat's death at the age of 27 from heroin overdose in 1988, his work was steadily increasing in value. At a Stobie, or is it Stobie auction in May of 2017, Untitled, a 1982 painting by Basquiat depicting a black skull with red and yellow rivulets, sold for $110.5 million, becoming one of the most expensive paintings ever purchased. It also set a new record high for an American artist at auction. Now, let's start right there. His painting was worth $110.5 million. So I have a question. Who got the revenue? Who has the revenue? Is the people that own his estate that has the revenue? Or did it go into the hands of somebody else? Because, if your painting is worth that much money, somebody else going to get that money 9 times out of 10. The person that owns your estate may not get it or may not see it coming. But let's just go ahead and continue on, because I want to get into the concept about the The neo-expressionism, all right, movement. All right, as you can see, there you go again on New York Times Magazine. All right, let's look at it. So the neo-expressionism is a style of late modernist or early post-modern painting and sculpture that emerged in the 1970s. Neo-expressionism was sometimes called trans avant-garde, John Wilde or New Wilden, the new wild ones, new phase who would better meet the meaning of the term is characterized by intense subjectivity and rough handling of materials. Okay. Neo-expressionism developed as a reaction against conceptual art and minimal art of the 1970s. Neo-expressionists returned to portraying recognizable objects such as the human body, although sometimes in an abstract manner, in a rough and wildly emotional way, often used vivid colors. It was overtly inspired by German expressionist painters such as Emil Nolde, Max Beckmann, George Grosz, Ernest Ludwig Kirchner, James Esner, Edward Munch. It is also related to American lyrical abstraction painting of the 1960s and 1970s. The Harry Hole movement in Chicago, the Bay Area figurative school of 1950s and 1960s. The continuation of abstract expressionism proceedings in pop painting and new image painting, a vague late 1970s term applied to painters who employed a strident figurative style with cartoon-like imagery and abrasive handling, owning something to neo-expressionism. The new image painting term was given currency by a 1970 expedition entitled New Image Painting held at the Whitney Museum. All right, so as you can see, this is some of the paintings right here. All right, so they got different level of artists from around the world. Okay, so basically what neo-expressionism is a form of expressing oneself, but in a more abstract way and in a more aggressive way. So when you look at some of these paintings, you may not understand those paintings. You might try to figure out what does those paintings mean. Well, those paintings are based on the abstract versus the concrete. So I'm a person, for example, I like art. I like artwork. Give me a few moments, please. All right, so I'm back. So I'm a person that likes art because art to me, I is a form of expression. So especially something that's abstract. Because when you look at an abstract art, you can be able to interpret it different ways. So it can interpret to one person can have their own interpretation this way, and the other person can have their own interpretation another way. All right. And the reason why I like art so much because at one point in time I used to write poetry. So when I write poems, I picture an image. So once I picture that image, I try to relate those writings based on the image that's in my mind. So when I look at the art, I think of poetry, but it's in the poetry of the image. Let's just put like that, poetry of the image, meaning that I visualize myself writing poetry based off the painting, based off the artwork. So I am an art person. I like all different types of art. You know, I like especially the black arts, African arts. I love it because it gives about a depiction. It tells a story. It tells a story. So for many artists, they use art as a way to tell a story about their lives, about their community, their environment. So it's very sacred to them. But let's just go back to his story, his life, Mr. Basquiat. So Mr. Basquiat was born in Park Slope, Brooklyn, as the second of four children to Matilde Basquiat and Gerard Basquiat. He had an older brother, Max, who died shortly before his birth, and two younger sisters, Lizanne and Jeannie. His father was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and his mother was born in Brooklyn to parents of Puerto Rican descent. He was raised as a Catholic. All right. Matilde instilled a love for art in her young son by taking him to local art museums and enrolling him as junior member of the Brooklyn Museum of Art. Basquiat was a precocious child who learned how to read and write by the age of 4. His mother encouraged her son's artistic talent, and he often tried to draw his favorite cartoons. In 1967, Basquiat started attending St. Anne's School, an arts-oriented exclusive private school, where he met his friend Mark Perizzo, and together they created a children's book written by Basquiat at the age of 7 and illustrated by Perizzo. All right. And at the age of 7 in 1968, Basquiat was hit by a car while playing in the street. His arm was broken and he suffered several internal injuries, which required a splenotomy. So the splenotomy is located somewhere near your stomach. So he had to get the as a matter of fact, let's look up what the splenotomy is real fast. So basically, the splenotomy is where it removes the spleen. And the spleen is located near your stomach and your kidney area. That's your spleen right there. That's a horrified way of dealing with an accident. That's very tragic. That could have been a life-ending situation right there. But it's a good thing that he survived that. Anyways, while he was hospitalized, his mother brought him a copy of Grey's Anatomy to keep him occupied. Hans. So, if you ever wonder where the show Grey Anatomy come from, the name, well, there you go. The name Grey Anatomy is only different is it's spelled with an E instead of the A. That's the only difference. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. So yeah, his mother brought him a copy of Grey's Anatomy to keep him occupied. After his parents separated, Basquiat and his sisters were raised by their father. His mother was committed to a psychiatric hospital when he was 10 and thereafter spent her life in and out of the institution. By the age of 11, Basquiat was fully fluent in French, Spanish, and English, and an avid reader of all three languages. His family resided in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Baron Hill, and then in 1974, they moved to Miramar, Puerto Rico. Due to his mother's instability and family unrest, Basquiat ran away from home at 15. He slept on park benches in Washington Square Park and was arrested, then returned to the care of his father within a week. Basquiat left Edward R. Morrow High School in the 10th grade and then attended City S School in alternative high school in Manhattan, home to many artistic students who failed at conventional schooling. All right. So let's look at his organization called SAMO. All right, Samo is a graffiti tag organ originally used on the streets of New York City from 1978 to the early 1980s. The tag, written with a copyright symbol as Samo and pronounced as Samo, is primarily associated with the artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, but was developed as a collaboration between Basquiat and Al Diaz. It accompanied short phrases which were poetic and satirical advertising slogan. Mainly spray painted on the streets of downtown Manhattan, Basquiat eventually used the tag himself, creating some non-graffiti work on paper and canvas using that tag. Just before and after killing all same old graffiti by painting same old is dead around the streets of downtown, decades later, Diaz resurrected the same old tag. All right. So they came up with the organization together. Him and Al Diaz organized together and started with or a group called, or a duo called the Same O, which is the graffiti tag. So the reason why they did that, because they wanted to be able to, have something where they can claim, they can go around and spray paint or, do their artistic work and put their tag label on to let it know that it was them that created these tags. All right. So let's go ahead and go down. It says in 1979, Basquiat appeared on the live public access television show TV Party hosted by Glenn O'Brien. Basquiat and O'Brien formed a friendship and he made regular appearances on the show over the next few years. Eventually, Basquiat began spending time writing graffiti around the School of Visual Arts, where he befriended student John Sachs, Kenny Scharf, and Keith Harley or Herring. In April 1979, Basquiat met Michael Holman at the Canal Zone party, and they found the noise rock band Test Pattern, which was later renamed Grey. Other members of Grey included Shannon Dawson, Nick Taylor, Wayne Clifford, and Vince Galeo. The band performed at nightclubs such as Matt's Kansas City, CBGB, Hooray, and the Mud Club. All right. Around this time, Basquiat lived in the East Village with his friend Alexis Alder, a Barnard biologist graduate. He often copied diagrams of chemical compounds borrowed from Alder's science textbooks. She documented Basquiat creative exploration as he transformed the floors, wall, doors, and furniture into his artwork. He also made postcards with his friend Jennifer Stein. While selling postcards in Soho, Basquiat spotted Andy Warhol at WPA restaurant with art critic Henry Gazler. He sold Warhol a postcard titled "Stupid Games, Bad Ideas." Now, here's an interesting thing. Him and Andy Warhol became very close friends. Warhol was very close to him. They were like this. They were very close. But the only difference is Warhol was old enough to be Basquiat's father figure or grandfather. Okay? Because he was in his 60s, Basquiat was in his 20s. But the thing is, they formed a very close bond, and that was like his mentor. He was his mentor. He taught him everything. He guided him through. He took him on his wing and whatnot. But when Andy Warhol had passed away, that did something to Basquiat's spirit, because he was so close to this man. He admired this man. He knew this man as a father figure and as a mentor. But when he passed on, it hurted him so. It did something to his spirit. So, but let's go ahead and continue. All right. Going down to the gallery artist, 1980 to 1985. All right. Okay. In June of 1980, Basquiat participated in the Times Square show, a multi-artist exposition sponsored by collaborative projects incorporated and Fashion Moda. He was noticed by various critics and curators, including Jeffrey Detch, who mentioned Basquiat in an article titled Report from Times Square in the September 1980 issue of Art in America. In February 1981, Basquiat participated in the New York New Wave expedition or exposition, whatever, created by Diego Cortez at New York's MoMA PS1. Italian artist Sandro Chia recommended Basquiat's work to the Italian dealer Emilio Mazzoli, who prominently bought 10 paintings for Basquiat to have a show at his gallery in Modena, Italy in 1981. In December of 1981, art critic Rene Ricard published The Radiant Child in Art Forum magazine, the first extensive article on Basquiat. During this period, Basquiat painted many pieces on objects he found in the streets, such as discarded doors. Well, hey, see, that's the way to express your artistic work. And what people don't know, most of the time artists will find recycled items on the street corners or any trash, and they might take that trash or they might take some recycled items and make use of it and bring some type of artistic concept to it. So let's say somebody find a pallet. If you find a wooden pallet on the street, right? If an artist come across that, they might look at that wooden pallet and they might be able to see what they can make and create out of that wooden pallet. You gotta remember, he grew up in Brooklyn, New York. All right, he grew up in the inner city environment. He's around people who is in the inner city area. All right, so remember that. So of course, walking in the streets of New York, you see trash, you see recycled materials. What you gonna do as an artist? You might pick it up, you might clean it off, and you might paint it and give it some type of life to it. You know, kind of like a panpsychism type of thing, but not really panpsychism, but more so like the abstract. But you can call it panpsychism, I guess, I suppose. Let's see. Historically, that sounds about right. With a good teacher-student relationship in the realm of passing craft skills or wisdom, those mentorships are going to most definitely be found in arts. Absolutely, yes. Like it was like with Mike Tyson, young talent taking you into an evolved society, so to speak. These young black artists and athletes. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So let's continue with some more information. All right. Basquiat sold his painting Cadillac Moon to Debbie Harry, lead singer of the punk rock band Blondie, for $200. They had filmed Downtown 81 together. Basquiat also appeared as a disc jockey in 1981 Blondie music video Rapture, in a role originally intended for Grandmaster Flash. At the time, Basquiat was living with his girlfriend Suzanne Moloch, who financially supported him as a waitress. She described his sexuality as not monochromatic. It did not rely on visual stimulation, such as a pretty girl. It was a very rich, multi-chromatic sexuality. He was attracted to people for all different reasons. They could be boy, girls, thin, fat, pretty, ugly. It was, I think, driven by intelligence. He was attracted to intelligence more than anything, and to pain. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But let me go ahead and continue. Let me go ahead and continue. All right. All right then. Well, I want to go ahead and skip down a little bit because it's a lot of information. But it says in December 1982, Basquiat began working from the ground floor display and studio space art dealer Larry Gagosian had built below his Venice, California home. There he commissioned a series of paintings for a March 1983 show, his second at the Gagosian Gallery in West Hollywood. He was accompanied by his girlfriend, then unknown singer Madonna. Gagosian recalled everything was going along fine. Jean Michel was making painting, I was selling them, and we were having a lot of fun. But then one day, Jean Michel said, my girlfriend is coming to stay with me. So I said, well, what she's like? And he said, her name is Madonna. She's going to be huge. I'll never forget that he said that. Now, isn't it so interesting? That's so interesting because Madonna. Ooh, let's talk about Madonna for a moment. Madonna was known to have a relationship with multiple people. Madonna was known to have a relationship with Prince. She done had a relationship with Tupac, allegedly. She done had a relationship with Dennis Rodman. She done had a relationship with Jean-Michel Basquiat. It's a whole list of people that Madonna was involved with. So there was some who were white, there was some who were black. And I think at one point, Madonna was in a relationship with Lenny Kravitz. I think. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it's just interesting though. It's very interesting. Hmm. But anyways, let's go down a little further. So Basquiat took considerable interest in the work that artist Robert Rauschenberg was producing at Gemini GEL in West Hollywood. He visited him on several occasions and found inspiration in his accomplishment. While in Los Angeles, Basquiat painted Hollywood Africans, which we're going to look into, which portrayed himself with graffiti artists Tasik and Ramelzi. Basquiat often painted portraits of other graffiti artists and sometimes collaborators in works such as Portrait of A1, aka King, that came out in 1982, Toxic, 1984, Ero, 1984. In 1983, Basquiat produced a hip-hop record, Beat Bop, featuring Ramanzi and rapper K-Rob. Okay, it was pressed in limited quantities of on the one-off Tartown Record Company label. Basquiat created the cover art for so okay, let's go up a little bit. Let's go up. All right. So that's some Basquiat invited Lee Jaff, a former musician in Bob Marley's band, to join him on a trip throughout Asia and Europe. Upon his return to New York, he was deeply affected by the death of Michael Stewart, an inspiring black artist in downtown club scene who was killed by transit police in September 1983. He painted a defacement in 1983 in response to the incident. Basquiat also participated in a Christmas benefit with various New York artists for the family of Michael Stewart in 1983. In May of 1984, Basquiat had his first show at the Mary Boone Gallery in Soho. All right. So let's look at his artwork, the Hollywood Africans. Okay. Hollywood Africans. All right, this is his artworks right here. Tax-free, gangsterism at the bottom. I think this says 200 years, Hollywood African. See, again, he made a lot of political statement with his art. It was a lot of political statement. Okay. Let's see, it says, now what's the background behind this? Okay. So Ramsey and Tassi accompanied Basquiat to Venice, Los Angeles, while he prepared for his March 1983 show, his second at the Gaussian Gallery in West Hollywood. While in Los Angeles, the trio called themselves the Hollywood Africans as social statement to counter the stereotypical portrayals of African Americans in Hollywood. During this trip, Basquiat painted Hollywood African, which questioned the depiction of African Americans in film, particularly during the golden age of Hollywood. All right. So analysis. Let's look up the analysis. Set to a gold yellow backdrop at the center of Hollywood Africans is a self-portrait of Jean-Michel Basquiat and his friends, artists Tassi and Ramsey, who accompany him to Los Angeles. To the upper right of Basquiat are the numerals 12, 22, and 60, his birthday. As he often did in his work, Basquiat crossed out some words and phrases. He explained that this was actually meant to direct attention to them. I cross out words so you will see them more. The fact that they are obscure makes you want to read them. Across the canvas are phrases such as Hollywood Africans from the 1940s and what is Bawana, which indicate Basquiat is questioning the depiction of African Americans in the film in the 1940s. Bawana is Swahili word for master or boss. The date 1940 written at the top of the painting may refer to the year actress Hattie McDaniel became the first African American to win an Oscar for playing the racial caricature Mammy in Gone with the Wind in 1939. All right. And it says, with the notations, tobacco, sugar cane, gangsterism, and the title of the artwork, Hollywood Africans, Basquiat seems aware of the limited roles given to African Americans in both Hollywood and real life due to discrimination. The notations can also be interpreted as the new products built by Africans that Hollywood is exploring or exporting. Excuse me. On the left side of the painting are blue footprints, referring to the footprints of movie stars outside of the Grauman's Chinese Theater on the historic Hollywood Walk of Fame. Basquiat and his pose are challenging the perception of three young black men in Hollywood and are cementing their place in history. Again, that's very deep. Very deep, though. That's a very deep statement. So now we're gonna go back. Yeah, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go down. All right, so final years and death, 1986 to 1988. For what will be the last exposition of the West Coast, Basquiat returned to Los Angeles for his show at the Gagosian Gallery in January 1986. In February 1986, Basquiat traveled to Atlanta, Georgia for an exposition of his drawings at Fay Gold Gallery. That month, he participated in Limelight's Art Against Apartheid benefit. In the summer, he also had a solo exposition at Gallery Dadis Ropak in Salzburg. In the fall, he walked the runway for Kawakubu Ray Kawakubu at the Comme des Garçons Home Plus show in Paris. In October 1986, Basquiat flew to Ivory Coast for an exposition of his work organized by Bruno Metro not Metro, Bistroberger, whatever. All right. But anyways, at the French Cultural Institute in Abidjan, he was accompanied by his girlfriend Jennifer Good, who worked at his frequent hangout area nightclub. In November 1986. At 25 years old, Basquiat became the youngest artist given an exposition at Kaisner Glasselschaft in Hanover, it's pronounced as Hanover. Okay, Hanover. All right. So it's German. So okay, I never heard that sound before. But anyways, in the last 18 months of his life, Basquiat became something of a recluse. In the late 1986, Good successfully got herself and Basquiat into a methadone program in Manhattan, but he quit after only a few weeks. His continued drug use is thought to have been a way of coping after the death of Andy Warhol in February 1987. In 1987, Basquiat had his exposition at Galerie Daniel Tipolin in Paris, the Akira Ikeda Gallery in Tokyo, the Tony Schafferzy Gallery in New York. He designed a Ferris wheel for Andre Hiller's Luna and Ephemeral amusement park in Hamburg from June to August 1987 with rides designed by renowned contemporary artists. All right. So let's skip. Despite attempt at sobriety, Basquiat died at 27 years old of heroin overdose at his home on Great Jones Street in Manhattan on August 12, 1988. He had been found unresponsive in his bedroom by his girlfriend, Kelly Inman, and was taken to Carbini Medical Center where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Basquiat is buried at Brooklyn's Greenwood Cemetery. A private funeral was held at Frank E. Campbell Funeral Chapel on August 17, 1988. The funeral was attended by immediate family and close friends, including Keith Haring, Francisco Clemente, Glenn O'Brien, and Basquiat's former girlfriend, Paige Powell. Art dealer Jeffrey Ditch delivered a eulogy. All right. And it says a public memorial was held at St. Peter's Church on November 3rd, 1988. Among the speaker was Ingrid Sichley, who was the editor of Art Forum, got to know Basquiat well and commissioned a number of articles that introduced his work to the wider world. Basquiat's former girlfriend, Suzanne Mollot, recited a section of A.R. Pinet's poem for Basquiat, and his friend Fab Five Freddy read a poem by Langston Hughes. The 300 guests included musician John Lurie and Arto Lindsay, Keith Haring, poet David Shapiro, Glenn O'Brien, members of Basquiat's former band Gray. In memory of the late artist, Keith Haring created the painting A Pile of Crowns for Jean-Michel Basquiat. In an obituary he wrote for Vogue, Haring stated he truly created a lifetime of work in 10 years. Greedily, we wonder what else he might have created, what masterpiece we have been cheated out of by his death. But the fact is that he has created enough work to intrigue generations to come. Only now will people begin to understand the magnitude of his contribution. All right. So yeah, so again, that's a lot of information on Basquiat. As you can see, there's like a little a plaque right here. It says Jean Basquiat from 1983 to 1988. A renowned artist, Jean Basquiat lived and worked here, a former stable home owned by friend and mentor Andy Warhol. Basquiat painting and other work challenged established notion of high and low artist race and class while forging a visionary language that defied categorization. All right. So that was if you see his picture behind here, this is the building that he was standing in. Okay. So what did Basquiat do? How did he bring inspiration? Well, how did he bring inspiration? Because by him being very bold and making political statement in public areas, and not just public areas, but also in his painting, it really motivated a lot of young artists coming up to make political statements as well. And then on top of that, his abstract art is what really opened up doors for more artists to be more abstract in their art. So he has influenced a lot into the hip hop culture in multiple ways. And that's through his political, his aggressive, vivid artwork that made statements to people to let people know how he felt. Did he start the hipster, or was it called something else? Their nightclub crew. Let me see. The hipster. I'm not sure. Let me look into that. The hipster. All right. Give me a moment. Let me get that information up for you about the hipster. Hipster. Okay, let me see. So let's look into the history. Um, well, according to this information here, I don't think he was the one that started the hipster. So in the early 2000s, both the New York Times and Time Out New York ran profiles of Williamsburg, Brooklyn, referring to bohemians and arty East Village types. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see anything about Basquiat's starting the hipsters. I don't see that. I don't see anything about Basquiat starting the hipsters. No. Let me see. Okay, I will look up the Hall of Negro Life. I will look into that. Let's see. Let's see what else. Oh, so Ibibo. So Ibibo is a art major. Okay, okay, he's an art major. All right, that's cool. That's what's up. I could have got you on here, Ibibo. Since you major in art. I would have to find out where him and Andy Warhol started together, though. As a matter of fact, let me look into that. Well, let's see. I don't see down here. I don't know. I don't know what they started together, so I tried to look it up. I don't see anything as far as that goes. Okay, so I don't know where they started together, but as far as um as far as what Basquiat and Andy Warhol started, I know they collaborated together on paintings, but I don't know if they started the hipster. All right. Okay, so anyways, let me go ahead and continue. I want to share the poem that Jean Michel Basquiat wrote back in the 80s. Let me see. So here it is. It's called Jean Michel Basquiat. Jean Michel Basquiat, which is the source is Bomb, which came out in spring of 1989. Boxing was made illegal the year Mary slashed her wrist. A college student set himself on fire. His parents never talked about him. All right. So this is one of his artworks right here. Again, it looks very abstract-ish. It looks very abstract-ish. All right. So let's go ahead and let's look. It says Braille teeth human Xerox revised off the blue kit torso. Arch hero his self life. Realized that the live entertainment in her living room beats what's on TV by a mile. They look extraordinary dancing together. This tall, anorexic man and his Dumbo partner. Helen begins tapping her toes and beating time on her knees. Then, before she realized what's happening to her, Alvin sidesteps over and swoops her up out of her seat. Dance with me, darling. Her mouth is still gleaming, but her eyes shows anger and beneath that terror. But Alvin, much stronger than he appears, ignores her eyes and lifts her feet onto his. He wraps his long arms around her body so she's standing along straight as if she were one of those cloth dance dolls you strap to your shoes. He sweeps her around the living room, humming over her head. Louise gives a few large whoops. Helen feels like she's flying. She hasn't danced not once. Since the accident, she closed her eyes against the lights and furniture, imagining herself on another planet with no gravity, where a damaged body doesn't keep your heart from soaring. Her heart is soaring. The music taps against her skin. Come in, she sings, come in. When Alvin finally drops her into a soft seat, she dizzy and out of breath. Well, wasn't that something? Said Alvin. Miss Helen, thank you for that dance. He bowed from the waist, her gracious partner. She gives him a brave salute. As her breath comes back, Helen's body announced that she'll pay for a small bit of freedom. Already sharp messages are shooting up her spine to the back of her neck. Shit, she thinks. Nothing comes for free. She excuses herself and limps to her bedroom where she undressed with her back to the mirror. In the warm tub, she lets her head go under and holds it there for as long as she can. Then, leaning against her special tub pillow. Helen tries to ignore the throbbing pain, the to move her mind away. She recreates her favorite Wheel of Fortune. A man who has not won a single game finally writes up $1,800 he has to spend one final time before he can solve the puzzle. Come on, trip to Rio. He screams at the wheel, but the damn thing stops on bankrupt. Oh, I'm sorry, says Patience to Jack. But before the next person leans over to spin, the camera pans to the man's face. A panorama of helplessness and disappointment center on this moment of bad luck. What Helen particularly likes is that the man didn't even try to pretend the way people usually do. That the loss was okay with him. Hey, I enjoy being here, Pat. This man simply stood there looking glum and angry until the end of the show. Helen thinks he should have gotten a prize for emotional honesty. Helen feels very clean when she steps out the bath. She eases into bed with a book, electrically adjusting the bed's back and legs control is one of those hospital type contraption they advertise on late night TV. You can sleep curl like a pretzel if that does the trick. She doesn't want to think about dancing with Alvin, but she can't help herself. It was so delicious to be held again, so to feel free from her body. Maybe Louise is right, at least partly. Maybe tomorrow, slowly, she'll make her way to the store. She can pick out the food herself and then have it delivered. They say you can't ignore physical pain if you really want to. She began to think, organizing thoughts. Well, now is a good thing I wash my hair. I have to iron a blouse in the morning. But if I'm going to be ambitious, tomorrow I better get my rest. She touched her clean hair. It's still quite damp. She fluffs it with her fingertip, enjoying how full it feels. It always been her best assets, that thick hair of hers. She reads her book, stopping again to check how her hair is coming out. It's not. It just won't dry. Her eyes want to close. Damn it, she says out loud. Why won't you cooperate? A spasm shoots up her side. She curses one more and turns out the light. Adjusts the bed for what she hopes will be a deep, deep sleep. All right, so that's very deep. That's a deep poem. That's a very deep poem. So basically, what it sounds like to me is that maybe that Helen had gone through some type of abuse. Maybe Helen was in a maybe she was sexually violated. Who knows? Maybe she was tired. Her body was going through some type of muscle spasm. Nobody really knows what happened. So she tries to, even though she didn't really feel good, but she went on ahead and danced with this person named Alvin, and it made her feel good that she was touched again. But the question becomes, well, what really happened? What took place with Helen? What took place with Helen? Did Helen get raped? Did Helen get hurt? Did Helen get violated? What happened? Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. All right. But anyways, that's the poem that Jean Michel Basquiat wrote, and he also did the painting on there as well. So here are multiple books that you guys can check out for your own personal reference. All right, so this book right here is dealing with the subject about graffiti and artwork. So this book is called Street Art by Cedar Lewishon, The Graffiti Revolution. Okay. So in here, it does have Jean Basquiat in it. So basically going through the revolution, the the process of how street graffiti took place, how graffiti art took place, and how it became so popular, and how it brought about inspiration of today. So let's see. This book came out in 2008, and it was reprinted again in 2010. All right. So from one time period to the modern time, how was street art, how did it start off in the beginning? What was the graffiti, and why did graffiti take place, and how it has influenced the generation over a period of time? Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the book again if you guys want to look it up for yourself. It's called Street Art. All right, so um, anyways, you said somebody asked me a question. Hold on, where's the question at? Miss T got time to post the link. What link are you talking about? Are you talking about the link for the book, or what link are you speaking of? What link are you talking about? Are you talking about the book, or what are you asking me, Ibibo? Graffiti art is dope as hell in Japan. I've seen some extremely cool stuff over there. Oh yeah, it is. And one of those, well, I wouldn't even call it graffiti, but one of the main artworks that's very popular in Japan is the anime. A lot of people like anime. A lot of people love anime. Me, I have a hard time really getting into anime. Certain ones I can watch, but overall I can't get into it like that. So I like artworks that's more like X-Men, DC Comics, Marvels, stuff like that. That's the type of artwork I really like. Those are my favorite artworks. Like those superhero comic artworks. But like I say, I'm an art person. I love it all in general. Now, the only thing is I don't know how to draw for nothing. Yeah. Um, you said the show. What I can do is let me see. Let me see if I can post the link. You'll probably have to wait till after I get done. And yeah, you'll probably have to wait till after I get done doing the video, then you can be able to get the link yourself. So, yeah, because I ain't gonna be able to do it right now while I'm live. So, yeah, just wait till after I get done. I'll post it in the comment section or something. All right. So, anyways, let me go ahead and continue. This one here is called Basquiat: A Quick Killing in Art. Okay. You guys can see that? By Phoebe Hoban. Basquiat: A Quick Killing in Art by Phoebe Hoban. Let me see. All right, so this book was out in 1998. So this book, well, yeah, it came out in 1998. All right, so this book goes into the life about Jean Basquiat. And if you guys want to check the book out, it's called Basquiat, Quit Killing in Art. Okay, check it out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want my live, you will have to wait till I get done, then I could be able to post it. But yeah, other than that, you can copy and paste the link. You know, you can copy the link yourself. Yeah, you can copy the link yourself. All right, so I have another book that you guys need to check out as well. This one is dealing with his biography altogether. It's called Jean-Michel Basquiat, a biography by Eric Fres. Okay, and let's see what year it was written. Right. All right, so that's him doing his artwork right there, as you can see. That's him at the bottom of the screen. And so I'm trying to see when did it come out. Okay, well, I think this one. All right, here we go. This one was written in 2010. So it goes into the whole story about his life, about his artwork, and how he got into it, and all of that great stuff. So you guys can look into that. I'm gonna zoom it up for you for a little bit. It's called Jean-Michel Basquiat, a biography. All right. So you guys can also, write that down and check that book out for yourself. Okay. So, all right. That's it. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching. I really appreciate that. I really do. And I hope you guys enjoy the presentation. Sorry for, all the stopping and everything else. Um, yeah, as you can see, I'm just yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I stay hydrated. So, because it's hot where I'm at. If you're in the South, chances are the weather's gonna get pretty hot. Gotta stay hydrated. Water is very important. Stay hydrated. I'm just saying. So this is my early birthday. My early birthday. All right, tomorrow, Monday, August 30th, will be my birthday. So yeah, August 30th will be my birthday. My birthday is on the same exact day as Fred Hampton. Okay, so I did a video about Fred Hampton. If you guys want to check out my channel and go through my video content, just put in Fred Hampton, put my name in, put Fred Hampton in, and you'll see that I did a video. I did some information about him. So, all right, and we're still in Black August. Okay, let's not forget about Black August. We're still in Black August. Yep. So, yeah, my birthday is tomorrow. Yes. August 30th. Yes. Yes. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful that I'm still here, that I'm still breathing and I'm alive. I'm thankful for that. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yes. But anyways, I hope you all take care. Please be safe. Please be please be careful because we're still in this pandemic. I don't know why people call it pandemic because it's not a pandemic, it's pandemic. Like we're in the pandemic for real. So you guys be safe and be careful. And also make sure you guys check out Team Osiris on the Horizon channel. The Team Osiris on the Horizon channel. Check that channel out. Check out Descendant of O'Malley if you want more contents. Check out my brother Hero GMR Jones. Check out his channel. He's doing a lot of great things on his channel. He's doing a lot of great work on there. I mean, this man is phenomenal. So he's doing a lot of great work. So check out Brother Hero Jones, and you'll find some great contents on there. Yeah, check out Society of the Griots, which is Brother Carlos, Brother Mustafa. That's his platform as well. So check out his channel. All right. Y'all getting silly over there in the chat. I see y'all getting silly, but shout out to the chat. Thank y'all for coming through. Shout out to Brother Ibibo. Shout out to Brother Gullah. Shout out to Brother Umi. Shout out to who else I'm forgetting. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I believe that's it. Yeah. If I forget somebody else, I'm sorry. But whoever else is watching that's now in the chat, shout out to you guys as well. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. So with that being said, this is your girl Tiffany. I'm logging off and I gotta go. So until next time, may peace and power and elevation be to all you. This your girl Tip. Take it easy.